Now, we'll now be going to our next topic, which is land and its uses. Land is a solid part of the Earth's surface, and its components are air, water, rocks, soil, natural vegetation, and animal life. Characteristics of land. Land is a natural gift. That is, it is not man-made, it's a natural gift. 2, land is geographical immobile. That is, you can't have land in Port Harcourt and say that, oh, because I'm now moving to Abuja, I will carry my land with me. No, that's not possible. Land is geographical immobile. That is, you can't move it from one point to the other. Then the third characteristic of land is that land is limited in supply, as it cannot be expanded or reduced. Then the fourth characteristic of land is that land is subject to law of diminishing return. That is, if you use your land this year, use it next year, the yield that you'll be getting will be depreciating with time. The land can appreciate or depreciate in value. Now, what do we mean by that? If you buy land today, and a land worth maybe 200,000 naira, in the next 5-10 years, it can turn out to be 200 or a million naira. And what we mean by it can depreciate in value. If a land is being eroded, you can't use it again for, that is, maybe there is a vast gully erosion on that land, you can't use it for agricultural purpose again, that is depreciated in value. Then the sixth characteristic of land is that it is heterogeneous in quality because it differs from one place to another in topography, in soil texture, in soil structure, in soil type, and soil fertility. That is, the land in Port Harcourt is not the same thing as the land in Oyo State or in Kano. Just like now, for example, if you check soils in towards once you get to Benin, get to Edo State, downward, you'll see that most of their soil are reddish in color, whereas in southwest here, it is brownish or blackish in color. And then if you move towards the north, their soils are loose. That is, they are not compacted together. That is, they have loose soil. And then the last one, which is the seventh characteristics of land, is the reward of land is rent. Now, land can be categorized into agricultural land and then non-agricultural land. But we'll first actually look into agricultural land. That is what agricultural land is all about. Agricultural land can be used for the following. 1. Growing of food and arable crops. When the land is used for growing of food crops, the soil must be conserved to prevent rapid depletion of nutrients, which can be achieved by applying organic and inorganic fertilizer. Or we can also conserve the soil nutrient by engaging, employing mixed cropping and then planting of leguminous plants, following, that is, allowing the land, if you follow a land, that is, following is a means of conserving the nutrients of the land and allowing the land to rest for some period of time, that is, you won't cultivate on that land. Then agricultural land can be used for growing of cash crops and permanent crops such as cocoa, palm tree, coffee, cola, and other perennial crops like that. And then agricultural land can be used for growing of grasses and legumes for livestock grazing. Then the fourth use of land, agricultural land, can be used for forest reserve. This is possible where there is no scarcity of land or the land is no longer suitable for agricultural purpose. That is, it's not suitable for planting of arable or cash crops. Then agricultural land can be used for wildlife conservation. It is many a times associated with preservation of economic trees and animals, that is economic animals just like elephants, lions, and then those wild life in general, that is wild animals that cannot be kept at your backyard. Then it also serves as that is wildlife conservation also serves as an attraction to tourists, just like the game reserve that we have, just like Obudu Ranch and the other ranches that we have in the country. Then the non-agricultural land, these are land that can be used for construction of industries and factories. Non-agricultural land use can also be categorized as land being used for the construction of residential houses. We also have construction of recreational facilities, that is, non-agricultural land can also be described as land used for construction of recreational facilities, just like land being used for the construction of studios, cinemas, and then where you just relax yourself. And then non-agricultural land can also be described as land used for the construction of roads and railway, land used for the construction of air and seaports, and then land used for the construction of sports centers, land used for the construction of schools. Now we come to factors affecting land availability for agricultural purposes. 1. Land tenure system. Unfavorable land tenure system make land unavailable for prospective farmers. It also fragments the land, thereby making it difficult to employ mechanization as a result of making the farming to be done at subsistence level. That is, land tenure system most of the time results in subsistence level of farming. Then 2, we have high population pressure or density. Increase in population limits the land available for farming as a result of the increase in residential area and increase in the pressure of population and the rapid industrial growth. Then the third factors that affect the availability of land for agricultural purpose is the soil type. Soil type affects the type of crops that can be grown in a particular area. This is because different crops have good growth and optimal yield on different type of soil. For example, JAMB have optimal yield on well-drained, loamy or alluvial soil. That is, if the land is not well drained, if it's not a well-drained loamy soil, the soil won't be suitable. Then the topography of land. The land must be flat and non-steepy. That is, it must not, if the land is too steeply, that is steepy, that is the steepness, the degree of steepness is high, then soil erosion will be encouraged. And if it is too flat, it must not be too flat. Although it must be flat, but not that excessively too flat, so as to prevent leaching. If it is too steeply, we have leaching and then we have erosion. So the land must be flat enough. Then the fifth one is the climatic condition. Climatic condition must be favorable with good rainfall throughout the cropping season. The rainfall must be very evenly distributed with enough sunshine to aid harvesting. That is, looking at the climatic factors such as temperature, rainfall, and then the sunlight. That is, all these factors must favor the cultivation of crops and then the rearing of animals. If the temperature is high, that is, I'm talking about temperature as a factor of climate. If the temperature is high, it's too high, there are some crops that cannot be cultivated, and there are some animals that won't just adjust. Just like if you bring animals from a temperate region to a tropical region where the temperature is high, the animal might die with no time because its adaptation is not meant for tropical region, and this makes some land unsuitable for agricultural purposes. Just like now, in a temperate region where there's always snow, you can't go there and then say that you want to plant tropical crops. And in a region where the temperature is high, you can't bring a plant from a temperate region that survives optimally in a temperate region and then say that you want to cultivate it in a tropical region where the temperature is high. Then the sixth factor that affects the availability of land for agricultural purpose is soil fertility. Now, in a situation, different crops requires different soil fertility, and then that is in a situation whereby we have maybe tomato or maize, the soil fertility being required by them differs, and then the soil fertility, the nutrients required for the optimal production differs from one plant to another. So if the soil is not fertile enough,